Hello, friends. Have you ever found yourself waiting and asking God for a sign before you take that next step of faith? Well, if you're seeing this video right now, it's because you probably have asked God for a sign at one point or another in your life. Maybe you've been saying to God that, Lord, if it's your will, just show me, or just give me a clear sign so that I can move on, or so that I can take the next step. But here's one thing that I've come to realize, that sometimes the sign that you are actually waiting for isn't something external. It's not something so dramatic. Many times when we all are asking God for a sign, we might actually be expecting him to come in a dramatic way. One thing I want you to realize is that the sign you're looking for might actually already be within you. It might be something that you already feel in your spirit, but you are still holding back from. The book of Isaiah chapter 30 verse 21 says that whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." God has already told us from his word that he would instruct us, we would hear a voice. And you know that sometimes, like I said, we might be thinking like it will be something dramatic. Sometimes we just want to hear God say, "Oh, John, my son," or Janet, my daughter. I just mentioned these names. But sometimes we might be looking forward to God calling our names and telling us do this or do that, just like our earthly parents does. But one thing I want you to realize is that sometimes the sign that we are asking God from has already been given to us, has already been ministered to our spirit. I believe that God has already been speaking to you, and that's why you're actually asking for a sign. And if God has been speaking to you, it might actually be that it's based on, maybe it's the idea that keeps coming back to you, or maybe it's the quiet conviction that you feel in your spirit, or maybe it's just that peace that you feel so strongly in your heart. But because you are looking for flashing lights or dramatic confirmations, you're missing out. You are missing out on the subtle way that God is guiding you. There was a time in my life that I felt stuck, waiting on God for a sign. I was waiting for God to send me a sign. But the truth was that He had already given me the tools, the ideas, and the opportunities that I needed. I was just too afraid to take the step. And I realized that is what applies with some of us at times. It was until I began to do what God asked me to do, or the nudges that I felt in my spirit, that I began to see his hand at work in my life. Faith requires movement, and in one of my previous videos, I talked about the fact that this is the sign. And one of the signs that God gave me was that look at your life in the past. If you look at your life in the past, you will see that I've always been faithful. There's nothing that I have committed in your hands that I have not backed you up on. And for someone that might be watching this video right now, it might be that is your own sign. Looking back at the faithfulness of God from the past, or the things that you've seen him do for others, that might actually be your own sign. And for someone else, it might just be that subtle voice that you're hearing in your spirit, or that nudge that you are feeling strongly, or that idea that has constantly been coming back to your mind. So if you are still waiting on God for a sign, this is your sign. So my question to you right now is, what are you waiting for? Is it a business idea, or a relationship, a new job, or even simple acts of obedience that you know God has been nudging you toward? If you're waiting for a sign, you saying this video might be the sign that you've been looking for. God isn't asking you for perfection. God isn't asking you to be perfect. All he's asking from you is to trust him. Trust what he has done for you in the past. Trust what he has done for others in the past, and what he's still doing for you. And trust him enough that he knows what is best for your future. This is why even in our times of uncertainty, it is important that we trust God, that he knows what's best for us. And you seeing this video might just be that sign that you have been looking for. The sign you are looking for is already within you. You already have that confirmation in your spirit. You already have that nudge. You already have that peace. And it's time for you to step forward and do all that God is asking of you. So today I encourage you to stop looking for external validation. I want you to pray and seek his wisdom, and begin to take the step, begin to make the move. I want you to trust that God will meet you there, guiding you as you go. One thing that God has taught me is that clarity comes from doing. So sometimes all it takes for you to know what next to do is to keep doing. Just start whatever God has laid in your heart, start it and keep doing it. And before you know it, it's going to make clear your path. It's going to give you more clarity, is going to give you more direction, is going to give you more instruction. And I don't want you to forget the fact that sometimes delay can mean disobedience. Sometimes God is asking you to do something, but you are saying, oh, I just want to wait till I'm sure. And while you are waiting, you might actually be disobeying God's word. So sometimes delay can actually mean disobedience. But I don't want you to allow fear hold you back from the life God is calling you to live. So if this resonates with you, I want you to take a step back and act on what God has placed in your heart. And if you've been praying for a sign, maybe this video is actually the answer you've been waiting for. God's timing is perfect, but it also requires our willingness to move. It's time for us to begin to walk in faith. It's time for us to begin to walk in faith and walk in obedience to God. So that's all I have for now. If you found this video helpful or impactful, remember to drop a comment in the section or give it a thumbs up. And if you're here to subscribe to the channel, it will be good if you subscribe to the channel for more impactful videos like this. Thank you. My name is Lanike and I'll see you in another video.